Hello everyone. Welcome back to 7P Speaks. Yeah, it's been a while since our last webinars, and also we did like meetups in the office. Yeah, but unfortunately, this kind of like pandemics is slightly back, so we have to be careful. So we try to practice all the rules and regulations. So we do webinars because we don't wanna you know like uh go gather people in the office. So why not we set up another interesting webinars today. So my name is Joseph. I'm from the talent acquisition team. So maybe first of all, I just want to give a little bit brief about Ceramic Software. Maybe some of you already knows about who we are. Some of you might not know. Yeah, Ceramic Software. We are software and design agency currently based in Thailand. So our headquarters is here. But we are originally started in Norway. Yeah, we started business in 2009, and after that we moved our headquarters and set up Ceramic Software in Thailand, Bangkok. Yeah, since 2014. So we are in Thailand for more than 7 years already. Yeah, what we do here, we are software and design services. We're helping the clients in the different industries, such as very diverse industry. Yeah, we are helping. We have a local and international clients. Yes, and we're helping with the enterprise solutions and also consolidations, website, web design, web applications, mobile application for both iOS and also Android. Yeah, so yeah, our team, we're growing very fast in Bangkok. Yeah, and we also have a team in Norway, and also we have another remote teams in other country. Yeah, right. Let me explain a little bit about how our teams look like, right? So yeah, this is firstly, please kindly follow and like our social media channels like Facebook and LinkedIn. So the thing is that we always share very interesting articles, and also the projects that we have done, and also we always share the knowledge, content, and also our activities, and yeah, what we are doing. So, and we always share to the public. And not only that, we also posting job opportunities, to join with the software team. So please kindly click like on the Facebook and also follow on the LinkedIn channel. Yep. All right, so our team is very working hard, and yeah, of course, they love to have a party harder as well. So you see, we just gather a few, moments from the past. Like we have a community outing, catamaran trip in the sea, and also sightseeing going around in the Bangkok. And also we also have in-house party, very awesome. We have a DJ, setting, lighting, food, beverage, everything. Yeah. So we always have fun together. It's not only coding the whole day, yeah. So this is who we are. Not only that, we also did a lot of sports. So yeah, we have different clubs, like someone who's interested in the running, cycling, yeah, and also do other activities together. And we also have another group playing esports, and also playing video games like Xbox, PlayStations in the office, yeah, with the big screens, having the beer, yeah, have fun together. Yeah, this is what we are currently typical days in our office. And we also eat hurt as well. Yeah, so we have a free lunch, free buffet lunch, in the office. Yeah, so people can enjoy different cuisines and have fun together. But these days, you do this, yeah, kind of a social distancing things. We only provide with the boss, yeah, normal a buffet style. Yeah, maybe we'll be back soon. Hopefully the situation is stable, so we all will be back to have what we have done before. And we also have some other interesting activities, such as it's kind of a wine tastings, cheese, and also German, or Oktoberfest, those kind of activities also we are doing all the time. Yep, yeah, all right. So yeah, if you're really interested in Ceramic Software, we're hiring a lot of positions. So this is some of the positions that we are looking for, such as we're looking for head of cloud backend, head of product, and also we're looking for web tech lead and front-end developer who have strong experience in React, backend developer with Node and .NET. Yeah, and we're also looking for native mobile developers for iOS and Android. And we also have other functions for sales and marketing. Yes, VP level, and also lead UX UI designer, senior UI, software QA, BDs. Yeah, if you are interested, or if you have any colleagues or friends or your connections looking for like a job opportunities to join with like awesome like talented people in Bangkok, so please feel free to drop your resumes or content via like the email address like jobs@7bsoftware.com, or you can also check it out on our website. Yeah, 7bsoftware.com/career. All right. Okay, great. So this is also like upcoming meetups. Like you can also check, maybe if we can set up like a meetups or webinars. So we always share on this event page. So yeah, stay tuned for the upcoming, like webinars and meetups. So today topics is very interesting. How to code effectively with Math. So this is Android webinars. So we have three like awesome speakers. We have like Mr. Fedor. He will talk about like the background processing with the Work Manager, and after that, like Mr. O, he will talk about layout preview tooling, and yeah, last but not least, Mr. Krit, he will talk about like effective list management. So these are upcoming topics in this webinar. So firstly, I would like to invite Mr. Fedor if he is ready. Hello, Fedor. Are you ready to present?
Yes.
Awesome. Great. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Let me check it out. Yeah, I can see you. Okay, I can see your screen. All right, go ahead. All right.
Perfect. So today I would like to talk about background processing, because it's like one of the most hard topics in Android, especially with those new dose modes, battery optimizations. So the recommended solution from Google is Jetpack Work Manager. So today I'll cover the basics of Work Manager. So the first, I would like to start with the benefits of Work Manager and why it's good to use it. So there are a lot of benefits of Work Manager. One of the main ones are that it is guaranteed to execute, so your work will be 100% done. And you can also add different constraints. For example, if you want to filter images, like in this image from Google documentation, maybe the battery is low, so you don't want to use the last 1% of the user's battery to process your images. So you can set the constraint and the work will be done once the battery level rises. Also, you can set it up like to battery charging. I think Samsung users already saw that, because Samsung always offers to do some work to help charities when your device is charging. Also, you can use flexible scheduling, so your work will be delayed. And for periodic work, you can set interval. The minimum interval is 15 minutes. Also, in case your work failed, you can also use retry policies. So your work will be rescheduled after some time and hopefully get executed. So the other good thing is that it's possible to use in multiple various projects because it works with RX Java and coroutines. So also it has built-in functionality for long work, so you don't have to set up a lot of code to show the notifications. The functionality is built in already. And the last is that it is integrated with Hilt, and it is very easy to set up and inject your dependencies into your work. So first, let's see if there are some disadvantages, because there are some. One of them is that Work Manager is not precise, so your work may be delayed in a few minutes. Depending on the conditions of the device, maybe the workload is very heavy, so your work will be delayed a little bit. And if you are using built-in functionality for the notifications, they might not get shown if your work is too fast. So this is in any case, for quick work, if you want to show the notification, you can set it up regular way and still show a persistent notification. So let's start from the basics. What types of work are available in Work Manager? So basically, we have two choices, one-time and periodic work. So also for one-time work, you can choose expedited mode, which is available in Work Manager 2.7. So this work will be executed faster than regular work, and it will be less affected by device workload and other limitations. Also for periodic work or long-running work, you have functionality that lets you run work in the context of a foreground service, and it will show you a notification that will be automatically dismissed after some time once your work is done. And deferrable, which meaning that it will be executed sometime in the future. You can just do your work without any notification. So let's start with the basics. So the setup, as you can see, it can be used with Java, with coroutines, RxJava 2, and it is possible to use it in different projects, depending on which library you like the most. So the first step to use Work Manager is to create a worker. So here I have some worker. We pass context and parameters, and we extend a worker class where we pass these parameters. So basically, you need to override only one function, do work, where you will do some work, and in the end of that work, you need to return the result. So result, let's see what is result. So there are three types of result: failure, retry, and success. So depending on what happens during the execution of your work, you can return one of these. For exceptions, maybe something went wrong, you can return failure. The job will be failed and it will be not restarted anytime after. But in case you want to handle the exceptions and retry after some time, for example, if there is no internet on the device and you want to retry, you can return result retry. In case everything worked perfectly, you should return success. Also, you can put some output data inside success, but I will cover it later in this webinar. And for one-time job, success is the last state of your work. But in case of periodic work, once your job ends with success result, it will be in queue for the next period of time. So there are other types of workers, like for example, coroutine worker, where you can use coroutines and you have a suspend function. So as you see, it's very similar to the basic worker, but here we extend coroutine worker and we have suspend function do work. So basically, you can do all heavy I/O stuff here, do some heavy computations, and yeah, I think it's very useful, more useful than their basic worker. And in case you like RxJava, Work Manager has you covered. In case with RxJava, you need to extend Rx worker. And the only difference is the function you override. So for Rx worker, you override create work, where you return a single with the result. The next, let's see, to create work, you need to create work requests that you will pass to the instance of Work Manager. So for immediate one-time work, you should use one-time work request. And in case if you want to do some very important work, like maybe chat messenger or something that user expects very fast response, you can set expedited. So as you remember, you can use it only with the newest version of Work Manager. For other types of work, if you are doing long time work, you can use work request and set foreground to show the notification to the user. And deferrable one-time or periodic, again, you can use one-time work request and periodic work request. Let's see how we can create one-time work and some specific features of it. So one of the specific features of one-time work is that you can chain multiple works. So you can execute them in specific order. For example, maybe you download a file first, then you process some data, and then maybe you do something else in the third work. So also you have as well expedited work, as I mentioned before. So it is for some very important tasks. It will be executed immediately within a couple of minutes. But there are some limitations like system quotas. In case these quotas are all used up, you cannot run expedited work, and you have a choice what to do with your work. But I'll cover it later. Also, as you see, it is less affected by battery saver and dose mode, and also still affected by the workload of the system. So it is very easy to create one-time work requests. So basically, you create a builder for your worker and then build the request. The next step is to get the instance of Work Manager, passing the context, and then you in-queue your work request. So basically, yeah, these are the basics. So at this point, your work will be executed by the Work Manager. But let's look how we can chain multiple works. So quite similarly, you can use the functionality of the Work Manager. You can specify the work to start with. You can call function begin with, where you will pass your work request. Also, I need to mention that you can pass a list of work requests. If you want to start with multiple works, you can do it as well. And then you can use then function to add more works to the chain. Basically, you can add as many works as you need, and they will be executed in the order you pass them to the Work Manager. So let's see how these works are handled by Work Manager. So basically, if you have a chain of works and the first work is in-queued, all the rest, all the children works are blocked at this moment. Now let's see, okay, the first work succeeded, then the children works are in-queued, and their children works are blocked as well. In case something happened and you want to retry, maybe there is an exception and there is no internet on the device, the Work Manager will in-queue your work request once more, and hopefully when it is succeeded in the next attempt, yeah, it will in-queue the children work. However, in case the parent failed, all the children, as you see, engagement works will be failed as well. So you need to choose carefully if you want to use retry or fail, because failed will fail all the rest of the works. The same goes for cancelled. If your parent work is cancelled, the children works are cancelled as well. let's see it with an example. We run a sample project where we can see live how these works are executed. Yeah, okay, so yeah, by default in my example application, we have periodic work. So as you see, the notification showed and it got queued. So let's see with one-time work. So maybe let's have some delay of 4 seconds. Let's try to run it. So you see the first work is queued. So let's wait 4 seconds. The first work is doing, it is complete. The second work is queued. Now you see it's running, we have notification and we have success. So for one-time work, it is the end point for one-time work. So you see this, the state of work doesn't change anymore. But let's try to use periodic work. So you see it's running, we have notification, and you see the state of work after success changed to queued, meaning that after some period of time, in our case 15 minutes, the work will be executed again. Yeah, so basically that's it about how Work Manager manages the works. So now let's look how to make your one-time work expedited and hopefully make it run faster. So basically you can call set expedited function, and here you need to pass out of quarter policy. In case the device is out of quarters, how you would want to handle your work. Maybe first option will be to run as not expedited work requests, meaning it will have some delay, maybe a few minutes, or you can choose to drop your work request and not execute work at all. So the next type of work, we have periodic work. So it has some specific features as well. So it has additional parameters that we need to pass to our builder. So it has a repeat interval. So as I mentioned already, it is minimum 15 minutes, and also you need to pass unit for this interval. Also, you need to choose what you want to do in case you have your job scheduled already. Do you want to replace or keep it? So let's look how to create a periodic work request. As you see, again, you create a builder for your worker. So we have a repeat interval and we have time unit minutes. So 15 minutes for this request. And then we call build again. So how to enqueue periodic work. Again, you get instance of Work Manager passing the context, and you call enqueue unique periodic work. So for periodic work, it has to have a unique name, and it has to and you have to pass existing periodic work policy, meaning what you want to do if there is already some work scheduled, maybe during previous run. And in this case, you can choose to either replace it or keep it, and then you pass your work request. The next, I would like to talk about constraints, as it's one of the important features of Work Manager. So there are 5 constraints you can use for your work. The first type is network type. So you can basically choose what network type should your work run. In case, for example, if you want to download something from the internet, you possibly want to use Wi-Fi or unmetered network type and not use cellular. Also, you can choose if you want to run your work when battery is not low. So maybe you don't want your user to use last few percent of his battery on maybe processing some data. Also, you can set requires charging, device idle. For device idle, it is possible to use it only with SDK23. And also you can set constraint to storage not low. Let's look at the example again, because there is some way that Work Manager will run your work immediately after the constraints are met. For this example, let's set the battery to a very low level. Maybe yeah, let's have 2%. Yeah, so the battery is very low. Okay, let's try to schedule our work. Yes, so we have the first work is, wait, I think it did not change the battery. Let's see. Yeah, first work is in queue. The second work is blocked. Okay, let's try to change the level of battery, and we should see the notification immediately. Let's see. I think, okay, yeah, so as you see, once the constraint is met, the work is executed immediately. So it goes for all constraints. Once the device meets these constraints, the work will execute immediately. So in this case, you can set some delay for your request, but I'll cover it later. Yeah, so since you want maybe to add some delay and not execute your work immediately after these constraints are met, you can set initial delay for one-time work. So again, you need to pass the period and time unit. Yeah, for periodic work, you can set initial delay as well. So you can set it up for both types of work requests. How can you handle errors with Work Manager? So you can handle it with backoff criteria. So basically, Work Manager will schedule your work after some time, after the exception appeared. So you can set backoff policy to linear or exponential. And yeah, you need to pass the period of time after which Work Manager will retry to run your work. So for linear, it's very simple. Maybe if you set it to 10 seconds, the next work will be executed after 20 seconds, 30, and so on. And for exponential, it will be 10, 20, 40, and like that. So you can set it up in your work request. For multiple or chain works, you can pass data between these works, and you can use the class data class inside work package. However, there is some limitation because you can pass only primitive types. Since, as you see from the documentation, it is a lightweight container and should not be considered like a storage of data. So for this case, you might want to pass like maybe a path or some some simple information. You can pass this data using input mergers. By default, Work Manager uses overwriting input merger. So basically what it means, if you have two works that have the same output, for example, you have your two works that have output one, name one in the result of work. So basically, the last work will override this output. However, if you want to keep all the results of all of the works, you can set array creating input merger and get all the outputs from all of the works. So it is very easy to pass data between works. Basically, you create data. There is a function for data of where you pass a pair of your data, and then you pass it in access result. So yeah, very simple, but again, you can pass only primitive types here. And it is simple to get this result in your next work because you have access to input data where you can get the result of the previous work. The next topic I want to talk is about notifying user, because Work Manager has a very nice built-in functionality. So basically, calling set foreground from your worker will make your worker run in the context of a foreground service. So you need to pass foreground info for set foreground function. What does foreground info have? It has notification ID and also a notification itself. All the rest, Work Manager will handle it for you. It will show the notification, and once your work is done, it will be automatically dismissed from the screen, so you don't have to implement any other logic here. It's quite easy, but again, if your work is too fast, it will not appear on the screen and you have to implement your own solution. This is functionality for long work. The next topic is how you can track the state of your work. So it is very easy to do as well. You can first you can add tags to your work. For example, this is from the documentation. Here we have cleanup tag. So if you have multiple works that you want to maybe cancel after some time, you can add a tag. And basically you can track your work using this tag, or you can do some stuff with your work later, maybe like cancel all the work or do something else. Also, it is very useful to track the state of your work using work info. So work info, it contains the ID of work, the state of work, output data, tags, and progress. And it even contains the attempt counts. So if the work failed, you can check how many retries there were. One of the useful ways to track data, I think, is live data. So we have it here as well. So you can get work info by ID live data, and you can observe the state of your work and maybe even show the state or the progress to the user. Also, you can get by tags live data. So there are various ways to track your work. You can use tags, you can use IDs, or you can get all the work info for all of the works. And the last the last topic is Hilt integration. As I mentioned, it's very easy to set up Work Manager with Hilt. basically you will have to set up your manifest and set up application class, and then you can just annotate your worker with these 3 annotations, and you are ready to go. So let's see, the first step is setting up your manifest, because you need to disable startup initialization of Work Manager. Basically, you can just copy paste this solution from the code labs or documentation, and you don't need to set up anything else. For the application class, you need to implement interface configuration provider, and here you need to override get work manager configuration. And since here we inject healed worker factory, we pass it to work manager configuration, as you see, and basically it gives us access to all our dependencies in our worker class. Let's see, for worker, you have 3 annotations: healed worker for the worker class, and you have assisted inject for the constructor, and you need to use assisted for context and work parameters. So basically, this is it. Very simple setup for healed, and you can get all the dependencies for your worker, and you can run anywhere. Yeah, so I hope you find it useful. There are more features in Work Manager that you can check in the official documentation. Yeah, but anyways, these presentations will be shared later, and you can check yourself. So I would like to introduce the next speaker, Mr. O, who will tell us about layout preview tooling. Mr. O, yeah, the next speaker.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hello everyone. My name is O. I'm mid-level Android developer at 7 Peaks Software. Today I would like to present layout preview tooling. We can call two attributes. My section is Thai language. Okay, so let's start. ครับมาเราก็มาดูกันครับว่าก่อนอื่นเรามาดูกันว่าlayout preview tooling คืออะไรนะครับตัว tool attribute คืออะไรนะครับ tool attribute นะครับก็เป็นตัว XML attribute นะครับที่อยู่ภายใต้ tool namespace นะครับซึ่งมันมีความสามารถก็คือทำให้เราสามารถเห็นดีไซน์หรือ UI คร่าวๆได้บนตัว layout preview บน Android Studio นะครับซึ่งมันจะไม่มีผลกับตัว APK site ตอนที่เรา build ออกมาเป็น APK site นะครับเพราะว่าเวลาที่เรา build ออกมาเป็น APK site แล้วเนี่ยtool attribute ทั้งหมดนะครับมันจะถูกลบออกไปครับทำให้มันไม่มีผลกับ APK site นะครับครับต่อไปวิธีการใช้ตัว tool attribute นะครับก่อนอื่นเราต้องมาเพิ่มตัว tool namespace ไว้กับ root element ของ XML ไฟล์ที่เราต้องการใช้นะครับอย่างตัวอย่างนี้ครับเพื่อนๆจะเห็นว่ามี tool namespace อยู่ที่ root tag นะครับเราสามารถพิมพ์คำว่า tool ได้เลยแล้วตัว Android Studio มันจะขึ้นตัว pop up มาให้เราเลือกได้เลยนะครับโอเคครับสไลด์ถัดไปผมก็จะมาพูดถึงตัว Design Time View Attribute นะครับsection นี้มันจะเป็นการพูดถึง use case นะครับว่าเป็น tool attribute อะไรบ้างที่เพื่อนๆควรรู้นะครับและผมคิดว่าน่าจะมีประโยชน์ผมจะมาแชร์เพื่อนๆฟังนะครับวิธีการใช้ tool attribute นะครับขอเกริ่นก่อนก็คือเบื้องต้นเวลาที่เราจะกำหนด attribute ให้กับตัว view ต่างๆครับโดยปกติเราก็จะพิมพ์คำว่า Android และตามด้วย colon แล้วก็เป็น text เนาะหรืออาจจะเป็นAndroid colon layout y หรือ Android colon visibility นะครับทั้งนี้ทั้งนั้นเราสามารถพิมพ์ tool แทนAndroid colon ได้เลยนะครับในการใช้ tool attribute นะครับโอเคครับ สไลด์นี้นะครับผมก็จะนำเสนอตัว tool text นะครับในนี้เพื่อจะเห็นว่ามีตัว2 text view นะครับ text view แรกก็จะเป็น first name นะครับ text view ที่2จะเป็น last name ครับโดย text view แรกนะครับจะถูกเซตโดย Android text เป็น James นะครับlast name เป็น tool text เป็น Born นะครับด้านขวาเพื่อนๆจะเห็นว่าเขาก็จะโชว์มา2 อันมีคำว่า James กับ Born นะครับใน layout preview นะครับซึ่งเราจะเห็นว่ามันจะโชว์ทั้ง2 อันจะไม่แตกต่างกันนะครับสไลด์ถัดไปเดี๋ยวผมจะโชว์ให้เห็นว่าเวลาที่มันถูกรันบน emulator แล้วมีการเปลี่ยนแปลงอย่างไรบ้างครับเวลาที่รันบน emulator นะครับเพื่อนๆจะเห็นว่าตัวtext last name เนี่ยมันจะไม่โชว์นะครับเพราะว่ามันถูกใช้เซตเป็น to attribute text นะครับซึ่งอย่างที่ผมเคยบอกว่าเวลาที่มันถูก build ออกมาเป็น APK ตัว to attribute นะครับมันจะถูกลบออกไปครับมันจะไม่มีผลต่อ APK หรือเวลาที่เรา build ออกมาเป็นตัวแอปพลิเคชันนะครับผมครับสไลด์นี้นะครับเพื่อนๆจะเห็นว่าในตัว text last name เนี่ยผมเซตทาง Android text เป็น Cameron แล้ว to text เป็น Born นะครับสไลด์นี้ผมจะสื่อให้เห็นว่าเพื่อนๆสามารถจะเซตทั้ง2 อันไว้ในตัว text view เดียวเลยได้นะครับแล้วจะเห็นว่าใน layout preview นะครับเขาก็จะโชว์ตัว Born นะครับหมายความว่าเวลาที่เราเซตทั้ง2 อันนะครับตัว Android Studio จะเรียกใช้to text ขึ้นมาก่อนนะครับแล้วถัดไปเราจะมาดูกันว่าตอนที่รันมันจะโชว์ยังไงครับครับเวลาตอนที่เรารันนะครับตอนที่เรารันเขาจะตัด to attribute ออกนะครับก็จะเหลือแค่ Android text Cameron นะครับอันนี้คือข้อแตกต่างนะครับสไลด์ถัดไปที่ผมจะโชว์ก็คือตัว visibility นะครับเพื่อนจะเห็นว่าในตัว layout ของผมเนี่ยมี2 บัตตอนเนาะมีบัตตอน confirm กับบัตตอนcancel นะครับโดยที่บัตตอน cancel นะครับจะถูกเซตเป็น to visibility ก่อนนะครับใน layout preview ของเราก็จะไม่โชว์ขึ้นมานะครับเวลาที่เรา build มันก็จะเห็นตัวบัตตอนอันนี้นะครับอันนี้ก็เหมือนเดิมครับเวลาที่เราเซตเป็น to attribute อะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับเวลาที่เรา build ออกมาเป็น APK มันก็จะไม่เห็นนะครับโอเคสไลด์นี้จะพูดถึง to context นะครับ to context คืออะไรและมีความสามารถยังไงนะครับยกตัวอย่างในตัวรูปภาพนะครับตัว layout ของผมนะครับ set to context ไว้เป็น profile activity ความหมายคือจะบอกว่าตัว layout เนี้ยมันถูกผูกไปกับprofile activity นะครับเวลาที่ผมกดcontrol ค้างนะครับแล้วกดคลิกซ้ายที่ profile activityตัว Android Studio นะครับเขาจะไปเปิดตัว profile activity ให้เรานะครับอีกทั้งเวลาที่เราต้องการอ้างอิงmethod ภายในตัว profile activity นะครับยกตัวอย่างเช่นเวลาที่ผมตอนนี้ยกตัวอย่างในตัว button นะครับผม set on click แล้วผมอ้างอิงไฟล์ของon confirm click ใน profile activity นะครับถ้าผมไม่ไปเซตตัวto text ตัวนี้ผมก็จะไม่สามารถอ้างอิงถึงmethod ใน profile activity ได้นะครับโอเคนะครับสไลด์ถัดไปนะครับผมจะพูดถึงตัวนะครับแน่นอนว่านักพัฒนา Android ทุกคนน่าจะมีความคุ้นเคยกับ RecyclerView อยู่แล้วนะครับแต่เราอาจจะเจอปัญหาที่ว่าเราอยากเห็นผลลัพธ์ของตัว list ตัวไอเทมข้างในของ list view นะครับแต่เราต้องรันบางครั้งอาจจะต้องรอ2 นาทีหรือ3 นาทีกว่าจะเห็นผลลัพธ์นะครับมันอาจจะทำให้เราเสียเวลานะครับผมก็เลยอยากนำเสนอตัวนี้ก็คือ to list item นะครับ to list item นี้เราสามารถกำหนดเป็น layout ของไอเทมด้านในของ RecyclerView ที่เราอยากดูได้เลยยกตัวอย่างผมก็กำหนดเป็น add layout นะครับไอเทม RecyclerView ด้านขวาเพื่อนๆจะเห็นว่าก็จะเป็นรายชื่อคนแล้วก็เป็นอวตารของคนที่ผมกำหนดขึ้นมานะครับอีกทั้งเรายังสามารถกำหนดไอเทมเขาที่เราต้องการที่จะเห็นได้ในนี้ผมใช้เป็น to ไอเทมเขากำหนดไว้5 อันด้านขวาตัวที่เป็น layout preview ก็จะเห็นว่าจะมีแค่5 รายการนะครับโอเคสไลด์ถัดไปพูดถึง simple data นะครับในกรณีที่เราต้องการ set data ให้กับตัว text view นะครับเบื้องต้นแต่เราไม่รู้ว่าเราจะเอาข้อมูลอะไรมาแสดงตัว Android Studio นะครับ เขาก็จะมีข้อมูลเบื้องต้นที่เราสามารถเรียกใช้ได้นะครับเดี๋ยวผมจะมานำเสนอให้ดูนะครับยกตัวอย่างนี้นะครับในตัว Image View นะครับผมก็ทำการเซตเป็นsimple avatar นะครับเขาก็จะทำการสุ่มตัว avatar ที่มีอยู่ใน Android Studio ออกมาแสดงผลนะครับเพื่อนๆจะเห็นว่าก็เซตใช้ tool แล้วก็ src add tool แล้วก็ colon simple ได้เลยนะครับโอเคแน่นอนว่าผมก็ต้องการเห็น full name ด้วยตัว Android Studio ก็จะมี full name ด้วยครับเราก็สามารถใช้คำสั่งsimple/full name ได้เลยนะครับโอเคพอเราย้อนกลับมาที่ list นะครับตัว RecyclerView ก็จะเห็นว่ามันถูกอัปเดตมาเป็นรายชื่อคนแล้วก็รูปภาพนะครับต่อไปนะครับผมจะนำเสนอตัวเป็น simple row name นะครับพูดถึงเวลาที่เราต้องการเซต text นะครับแต่เราไม่รู้เราจะเอาข้อความอะไรจะมาเซตนะครับเราสามารถใช้ตัว simple row name ได้เลยเขาก็จะสุ่มข้อความมาให้เรานะครับหรือถ้าเราต้องการข้อความที่ยาวขึ้นนะครับเราก็สามารถใช้ตัว row name /random นะครับมันจะเป็นข้อความที่ยาวให้เรานะครับพอเรากลับมาที่หน้า list นะครับก็จะเห็นว่า list ของเรานะครับถูกเปลี่ยนเป็นrow name นะครับข้อความที่เราเซตไว้นะครับโอเคสไลด์นี้นะครับก็จะเป็น example ที่ทาง Android Studio เขามีไว้ให้เราคร่าวๆนะครับเพื่อนๆเห็นว่ามีทั้ง full name first name นะครับแล้วก็มี city นะครับโอเคเพื่อนๆสามารถไปลองเล่นเพิ่มเติมได้นะครับในหน้านี้ก็จะมีทั้ง avatar นะครับแล้วก็มีตัว background นะครับเพื่อนๆสามารถไปลองเล่นได้เลยในกรณีที่ simple data ของ Android Studio เขาเตรียมให้เราอาจจะไม่ตรงความต้องการของเราหรืออาจจะไม่เพียงพอที่เราต้องการนะครับเราสามารถ customize simple data ได้ด้วยนะครับโดยการที่เรากดคลิกขวาที่ package app นะครับแล้วกด new เลือกเป็น simple data directory นะครับหลังจากได้ simple data มาเรากดคลิกขวาที่ simple data นะครับแล้วเลือกเป็นไฟล์นะครับและ create ใส่ชื่อไฟล์ที่เราต้องการได้เลยเลือกเป็น text นะครับโอเคแต่ตัวอย่างนี้ผมก็จะใส่รายการผลไม้เข้าไปข้างในนะครับหลังจากนั้นวิธีการเรียกใช้งานนะครับเพื่อนๆก็มาที่ text view ของเพื่อนๆได้เลยแล้วพิมพ์คำว่า to text นะครับแล้วก็ใส่ annotation simple slash และตามด้วยชื่อไฟล์นะครับทีนี้ทางระบบเขาก็จะสุ่มตัวรายการผลไม้ออกมาให้นะครับตัวอย่างเวลาที่เรากลับมาหน้าตัว RecyclerView จะเห็นว่ารายการผลไม้ก็จะถูกขึ้นมาแล้วนะครับโอเคanyone might have any question I guess no if you want to see more information you can see from Android document official from this link if you have any question feel free to add my Facebook or LinkedIn and direct message to me okay that's it from my section I will send to next speaker so I would like to introduce Krit he is mid-level Android developer at 7 Peak he will present effective list management okay welcome Krit
Okay, so I think I'm sharing my screen, right? Yep. Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Krit. I am a mid-level Android developer at 7 Peak Software, and my session is effective list management. So, talking about the list in Android, the best option for us is to use the RecyclerView. So this session, we have all the topics about the RecyclerView and the adapters. So first will be the RecyclerView adapter, the list adapter, concat adapter, and I will show you an example of using the list adapter with the concat adapter. Okay, so suppose you are going to create this screen. This is the screen of to-do items. We have the green item, which is the done item. The gray item is the undone item, and you can click on it to mark item as done or undone, and you can long press on it to remove it. And this is the example of the data response that we are going to use it to create our list. So we have the ID, the title, create that, and it's done. So creating the RecyclerView in your activity or fragment, you have to declare it into the XML. And you can declare the layout manager here or in the course, the same, it's up to you. So let's create this item. So this is the item that have the date and time and the title. I create the XML with using the data binding. So first we have the material card view. So we have the beautiful corner radius here, and we have one text view to display date and time, and one text view to display the title. Then after that, we create the view holder. So in this view holder, we just extend the RecyclerView.view holder, and we set on click listener for the mark item action, and set all of click listener for the delete item actions. I also bind the model back to the XML so we can use it here. And this is just the condition for set the color of the items. Then after we're done with the view holder, we have to create the adapter. So I pass the list of items here in the class constructor. Some of you might create another function to manage, like remove the item or add the item. But I put it here, and we have the callback for on item click, callback for on item long click. Then we have to extend the RecyclerView.adapter, and we put our view holder here. And we have to implement the onCreate view holder to return the your view holder, which is the to-do item view holder here. And we have to implement the onBind view holder to put the current item of your list and calling the bind function. And we have to implement the get item count to return the amount of item in your list. Then we back to activity or fragment. We create the new object of the adapter. We put the item here. We create the callbacks, and we assign it to our RecyclerView. Then here is the function for handle the callbacks. I have created the dialog for the confirm action. So after the user confirm the action, I will call notify dataset change to update the view. But there's something wrong here. Some of you can guess it. So what's wrong here is I'm using notify dataset change. Using notify dataset change is really expensive for you, because by calling this function, it will create all of the view for you, which you just update one item. You don't need to update all of it. So what is the proper way to do it? We use these functions to update the items. So, but the problem is, it is causing the overhead to you, because you have to know which is the position of the item that you are going to update. So it's very easier to use one line of code to update it, but it's really expensive. So is there an option to do it in one line of code? The answer is yes. We use the list adapter. So the same layout again, the list of to-do items, on click action, and on long click action. We have to create the same XML, the same view holder, but the difference is the adapter. So I don't pass any list of item here anymore, but still have the callback actions. And also implement the onCreateView holder at the same, onByView holder at the same, but we don't have any get item call anymore. And another difference is we have to return the list adapter. Sorry, we have to extend the list adapter, and we have to create the diff utils here. So diff utils is the utility that can help you to differentiate the items. The logic behind it is the difference algorithm from Eugene W. Myers. So it's very effective with large data set. So we have to override two functions here. First, item the same. This is to check that your item is the same. So we can differentiate it by the ID. And content the same is used to check that the content of your item is the same. Then back to your adapter or fragment. Now we create the object of our adapter. We bind it to the adapter, and we call submit list here to put the list into our adapter. Then again, the same for on item click. We have to create the dialog, and we call some function to mark our item or remove our item, and then we call submit list again to update the view. And then the diff util will help us to update the exact item that we make change. So another thing to notice about using RecyclerView adapter with and the list adapter is that with using the notify dataset chain, it's not going to give you any animation to update the item, but with the list adapter, there will be the somewhat beautiful animation here, and you can use this function to show animation as well, but it will be, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it will create some overhead to you. And something to be careful with the diff utils is that you should not pass the direct reference to your list directly into the adapter, because when diff util, when you call the diff util, it will compare the old item to the new item. If you put your reference to the list into your adapter and you make some change into it, when the diff util is calling, it cannot check that what is the difference between the old one and the new one, because you already made a change to it. So please just create the new instance of it and put in the list, and it will work fine. So next is the concat adapter. So concat adapter is helping us to using like 2 or more adapter together, just connect it to the list. Then here, so imagine creating this view. So we have the list of item, we have the header for it. So without the concat adapter, we'll do it like this. So I will have the RecyclerView adapter as the same, but I will call the get item view type here. And the position 0, I will return the header, and else I return the items. Then on get item count, I will +1, and we need another size one more for the header. So in onCreateView holder, just return the type of the header and the items, and in onByView holder on position 0, I will cast it at the header, and else I will cast it at the items. And the problem is here, I have to put the position -1 because the index 0 is already reserved for the header. So, and our list is +1. So to directly bind the correct items, I have to -1 for the correct index. And this can also cause you a problem when you want to update, or maybe calling the function to update one items. So it's better to use the concat adapter. So we have the header, right? So we create the XML for it, and we create the view holder for it. Then we create the adapter just for this header. The same as the RecyclerView adapter, we implement the onCreate view holder, return the view holder for it. OnBind view holder, do nothing. And get item count is return 1. Then we just use it with our adapter. It's working with RecyclerView adapter or list adapter. And we got this layout. So next is I'm going to show you an example of using the list adapter with the concat adapter. Here, really the same layout, but something more. So we have a large item, a small item here. The large item is for today items, and the small item is for the list that is not today. With the same response again. And now I have another data class for group the item. Just use the Kotlin group by function. So in this layout, we can separate our adapter into 3 adapters. The first adapter is to do header adapter. The second is to do large group item adapter is for the today list. And to do small group item adapter is for another days. So the header is the same as an example in the concat adapter. We create the XML, we create the view holder, we create the adapter for it, and don't forget to put item count into 1. And for the today's item, we have to do large group item adapter. Here, we have a text view to display the title of it, and the recycler view to display the list of items. And here, I fixed the text to today. Then just create the items. We have material card view for the item with the corners. And we have one text view just to display the date. One text view to display the title. We create view holder, which is very similarly to the example in the RecyclerView adapter and the list adapter. And we have to create the adapter, and I use the list adapter here. Then we have to create the item for all of it here. So the same XML as the previous slide, and in the view holder, the bind function, I create the adapter and put it into the recycler view, submit the list of items, and we create the adapter for this item. Then for the to do small group item adapter, very similar to the large item, but for the header, I put the date of it. And for the recycler view, I add the orientation of the horizontal. For the view holder of the recycler view and the adapter is really the same as the large item. Then we have 3 of the adapters now. So we just declare it and we use it in the concat adapter. Then we assign our concat adapter to our RecyclerView adapter. We submit the list of to-do item to the large group item. We submit of the to-do items for the other days to the small group items. Then we handle the actions in the activities or the fragment. And you get your list of the to-do items. So to conclude the use of the adapter from my point of view is that the RecyclerView adapter can be your first choice for the static list, as working on it with the dynamic list can cost you some overhead to update the item on the position. But using list adapter can be your first choice for the dynamic list, as it's built in with the diff utils. So it's easier to work with the dynamic list. But you can also implement the diff utils in the RecyclerView adapter, but it's a lot more overhead than the list adapter. So working with the dynamic list, your best option is to use the list adapter. And the concat adapter can be your option to help you handle with the multiple view types in case that your view is showing sequentially. But if you are working on something like the Facebook news feed that dynamically have the dynamic view types, we have the views, the image, the videos, maybe the ad block, something like that, that is not displayed sequentially, you better use the multiple view types for it. So that is for my session. So some of you might have a question. Okay, we have a question. So the first one is, what's the difference between RecyclerView, multiple view type, and the concat adapter? So these two can work on the same job if your view is displaying sequentially, but multiple view type is better in terms of you are working with the dynamic content items. And another question is, can concat adapter use diff utils? So the answer is yes. If you are working with the list adapter, or you implement your diff util in the RecyclerView adapter and use it with the concat adapter. But I don't think you can implement the diff util directly into the concat adapter because it is a final class. So I think that's all the question. So thank you everyone for joining today. Don't forget to follow us in Facebook or LinkedIn. We also upload this meetup to YouTube channels. So don't forget to check out there. And if you are interested to working with us, don't forget to check out at 7peaksoftware.com/careers.